problems that people think, you know, are happening which aren't happening, or some of the issues that just aren't real. So she's kind of going through that, which I thought that was a good presentation. And the best portion, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this portion, but that we had a 100-day plan, and then we're going to have a second plan.
It's just phase one.
Yeah, just phase one of how she's going to correct what's happening there.
You were interim.
Yeah, they literally just made the announcement about an hour ago.
Okay.
She had just come out from a meeting, and she said, "I have something to tell her." And I'm like, I really thought it was 6 weeks. You know, it's been six weeks.
17 weeks.
It seems like 6. I don't know. 17. So who's counting?
Well, obviously, you knew something was coming down from the state auditor's office, because she had been working on that report, and I didn't think that her report was any part of grandstanding. Okay, I thought that she did her job. Suzanne did her job professionally. Went out there. She even acknowledged that you were on the job and doing some of the things that taking corrective action.
Well, first of all, thank you very, very much for having me here, for making the time. I really appreciate it. I've been with the agency for 17 weeks, and so the governor and the secretary, when they asked me to take this position, really gave me a mandate to come in and do a top-to-bottom review of the agency and to make any changes that are necessary. So this 100-day plan is a piece of that. In addition to that, I've been spending time in every local transitional assistance office. We have 22 around the state. I've been in
There's one here in Lowell.
and I've been in a Lowell office all day today. Yep. And we've also done 21 listening sessions, which are open meetings, and really asking members of the public to come and share their input and their feedback about things that they feel could be improved with the Department of Transitional Assistance, to share their experience. A lot of times clients and former clients come and talk about the role that the department played in their life at a really critical time, and where they are now, and like share their success stories. I'm not the kind of person who thinks that the way that you decide what the best thing to do is to lock the 10 perceived smartest people in a room and come out with a policy. I think it's really important that the agency and government reflect the people of the Commonwealth. And so the listening sessions and really listening and meeting with the staff at the DTA offices has been very, very important to me, and has really helped me to try to get up to speed. I'm in no means a subject matter expert, but to really get up to speed, I shadow the caseworkers. I've sat in on intake interviews, on recertifications, trying to learn the Beacon computer system, which is our case management system, which really needs some upgrading. Our caseload increased about 300%, and our case workers decreased. Our amount of staff decreased, which is exactly the inverse thing that you want to have happen in a situation like that. So our workers have been very, very taxed, trying to keep up and process applications of people that are, had just lost their jobs, are recently homeless, and the situations are pretty dire when people come into the office. So I think overwhelmingly, in any large organization there's always a couple of bad apples, but I think overwhelmingly people are working really, really hard, doing exactly the right thing, and making sure that only people that are eligible are getting benefits. Now I think some of the things in the 100-day plan enhance that, and I think that that's what we need to do, is really work to give the tools to our caseworkers so that a lot of the stuff is taken out of their hands and is done with direct matches with other government agencies, where the information is verified upon receipt, so we don't have to chase it.
You're getting calls about, welfare recipients or assistance recipients, using money for nails, booze, porn, benefits to those who have passed. Can you tell us what the department is doing under your leadership to right that ship?
Absolutely.
Please.
Yeah. So I think it's important to know that there's basically 3 programs that we administer. The SNAP program, which is the food stamp program, which is 100% federally funded, and we administer that program on behalf of the federal government. And that's the majority of our clients participate as SNAP clients. Then we have TAFTC, which is for people with dependent children, and EAEDC, which is elderly and disabled children. And that's the cash benefit. And that's what, over the last couple of years, the legislature has taken steps to restrict what's prohibited to use your cash to purchase. So 2 years ago, they restricted, the governor signed liquor, lottery, and cigarettes. And then last year in the budget, the legislature mandated and the governor approved some additional restrictions. So the nails, travel agencies, rent-a-centers, porn. There's a couple of others on the list.
Gambling, can't gamble.
Can't.
Vacation services.
No scratch tickets.
No,
That was already, lottery was in the first round.
Okay.
You can't take a vacation anymore?
You can't use it at like a travel agency or anything.
You can't pay your bail
Right.
anymore.
And then it says here that you're doing bi-weekly monitoring of those accounts to determine
Yes.
that the cash is being used for those?
Yes, so we are not a law enforcement agency, we're a human service agency, so that's an important distinction. But what we have is data, so literally on my second day, I asked our vendor to give me a bi-weekly report of every ATM withdrawal and every point of sale transaction across the Commonwealth. So it's about 90,000 transactions every 2 weeks, it's about 14,000 unique locations. So we have a pretty extensive database that we're compiling right now. We go through, and if there's places that come up that say Johnny's Liquors, for example, we're actually going and physically inspecting those places to see if they are a completely prohibited location. Because in a lot of places, particularly in rural places, in rural communities, stores like that serve
They sell the booze,
multi-functions. They sell booze, but they also have eggs, milk, bread, diapers, etc. So I've actually done several of those inspections myself because I think it's really important to kind of get a sense of what's happening. So I've done some in Pittsfield, some in Greenfield, and those ones would not go on the list of restricted. You know, if you have 50% or so of your inventory would be prohibited.
It's a bad acronym.
Yeah, it's a really bad acronym, but it's really important because that will give us the ability to partner with municipal law enforcement and do actual investigations around SNAP trafficking. So you'll see sometimes there's stores that get busted by the Attorney General, and every single one of those things, most of those referrals come from DTA. We monitor where transactions are happening. We can see if there's places where there's a lot of whole dollar transactions, which is a sign of trafficking. And we make those referrals to BSI, which is the Bureau of Special Investigations within the auditor's office. Anything that is deemed to be potentially criminal gets referred there. And then they work with the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney sometimes to do those investigations in those busts.
Conference committee now, and the Senate is reluctant to concede that to the House right now because of just what Tommy's talking about, but the bottom line is, we just want to see some plan done
Right.
where it's in there.
That seems to be a real hot button, the photographs. Do you-
Well,
How do you feel about
Because
that?
even with the PIN number, I can give you my PIN
Right.
number.
Right.
Can I just get back to my third point?
Yes,
of
yeah,
the
absolutely.
ATM
And then you can
first,
talk about
just so,
photos.
and then I'll talk about photos.
Right.
So I think the law enforcement piece is really important.
Yeah.
The piece with us monitoring people and sanctioning our clients when they're
Yeah.
doing stuff that's wrong. But the other really important piece of that is retailer education. That's kind of a missing component, I think. So what we've done to be in compliance with the law in the past has sent a letter to retailers. We've worked through the Retailers Association to get notice out that this is the things that you can't accept someone's cash benefit for. However, I am fairly certain that part-time clerks at these stores are not spending their 15-minute break reading the notices from DTA. So I think that it's really important to get out into different regions to actually try to get the clerks to trainings. So we are working very closely right now to set those up all over the Commonwealth. And to also give some skill training on how to have those conversations, because a lot of times these are high school kids or college kids. In small towns, they might know the person who's coming in to make a purchase that's not allowed. So how to have those conversations, how to negotiate that, so that the retailers are staying out of trouble. We have the data, we're giving the data to the police, and this is your expectation. This is by law what you are responsible for administering as a retailer.
Yeah, the only way you're going to get a retailer to stand up and take notice is if there's some teeth behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the education piece is really important. Then giving the information to law enforcement and, you know, noticing our clients and sanctioning our clients when they're not doing the right thing. But it's a it's a multi-pronged
Yeah.
approach to get at it.
So how do you do that? I mean, they're gonna let you hire more foot soldiers to go out there and do this education program? Who's going to do this education
We have a
program?
training department right now, that exists within DTA, and they are doing their,
NDTA, who's that?
the
in-
department in.
The department.
Oh,
In the-
Oh, I thought you said N. I thought you said NDTA.
So it's another-
There's a
it's
new
another-
agency,
it's another
there's a new
agency.
editorial, another agency just started overnight.
It's another agency that I have, no.